The trap in the wild, the forest was silent. Too silent. Tall trees stood like frozen giants, their dark green leaves hiding the sky. Somewhere far away, a bird cried once and then never again. Alira opened her eyes slowly. Her head hurt. The ground beneath her was cold and wet, covered with strange black moss. She tried to sit up, but her body felt heavy. Her clothes were torn. There was dried blood on her hand. She looked around. She was alone. No roads, no buildings. Only trees. The forest stretched in every direction. Where? Am I? She whispered. Her voice sounded small, like it didn't belong in this place. She stood up, shaky. Her left leg was hurting. She didn't remember how she got here. The last thing she could recall was lying on a white bed. Bright lights above her, and someone saying, "Begin phase 2. Suddenly, she heard a rustling sound. She turned. Quickly, heart beating fast, but there was nothing. Just more trees. She took a step forward, and then it happened. Snap. Metal jaws closed around her ankle. She screamed. It was a trap, sharp and cold. But it didn't feel like a normal animal trap. It was strange, metallic, smooth, with glowing blue lines across it. Like something from the future, she fell to the ground, crying out in pain. Blood poured down her leg. She tried to pull herself free, but the trap held tight. "Help!" she shouted into the dark forest. "Someone, please!" No one answered. The wind blew softly through the leaves. The forest did not care. Hours passed. Or maybe just minutes, Alira couldn't tell. Her vision was blurry now. She was losing blood, losing hope. She looked up at the sky. Through a gap. In the trees, she saw the stars above, bright and strange. One of the stars was moving. Glowing red, then blue, then white. Alira felt something inside her stir. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Please, if anyone can hear me, help me. I don't want to die." Silence again. And then footsteps. Soft, slow, getting closer. Alira opened her eyes wide. Her heart pounded in her chest. "Who's there?" She called out. No reply. The footsteps stopped, just a few meters away. But she saw no one. No shadow. No figure. Then, something cold brushed her arm. She gasped. "Who's there?" From thin air, a shape began to appear. A man, wearing a suit that flickered like glass. He had been invisible. Now slowly, he became clear. His face was serious. His eyes were sharp, glowing faintly. He looked at her leg, then back at her. "You're not supposed to be here," he said. Alira stared at him in shock. Who are you?" The man kneeled beside her. He took a small device from his belt and pressed it against the trap. A soft beep, and the trap clicked open. Her leg was free. "Wait," she said, confused. "You didn't answer." "We don't have time," he interrupted. "They're coming." "Who's coming?" Alira asked, scared. The man stood up, scanning the trees with his eyes. "The Watchers. They protect this place, and they don't like intruders." Red lights began to appear in the distance, moving between the trees. Floating, watching. The man's voice was low. "If they find us, we're both dead." He pulled out another device and touched it to Alira's wound. Instantly, her skin began to heal. The bleeding stopped. She gasped in amazement. "Can you walk?" he asked. She nodded slowly. I think so." He helped her up. The red lights were getting closer now. "We need to go," he said. Alira looked at him. "Where are you taking me?" He looked back, his voice softer now. "Somewhere safe, somewhere they can't reach." And without another word, they ran into the dark, strange forest. Behind them, the Watchers began to move faster. Alira didn't know who the man was. She didn't know where she was going. But for the first time since waking up, she felt one thing. She was not alone. The invisible visitor, the cult, forest didn't sleep, even though the sky above was black and filled with stars. The forest moved quietly, carefully, like it was watching. Alira ran beside the strange man. Her legs still hurt, but she could walk now. The cold wind touched her face. Her breath was short, fast. The only sound she heard was the crunch of leaves under their feet, and something else. A low hum. It wasn't coming from the ground. It was in the air. Like machines were flying nearby, but just out of sight. Who are the Watchers? She asked, still running. The man didn't look at her. They are the eyes of this world. If they find you, they erase you. Erase me? He stopped suddenly. Raised his hand. Silence. The humming sound grew louder. Then a beam of red light passed over the trees in front of them, scanning me. Ground like a giant flashlight. The man grabbed Alira's hand and pulled her behind a thick tree. Don't move. Don't even breathe loudly. Alira pressed her back against the tree. Her heart beat like a drum inside her chest. The red light came closer. And then, passed. A few seconds later, the light was gone. The man let go of her hand. There. Searching. They know someone broke the boundary. Alira looked at him. What boundary? He pointed upward. This place is not Earth. You're inside something artificial. A test zone. Not built for you. Alira stared at the sky. But the stars, they're real. No, he said softly. They're not. Just lights on a dome. She blinked. What are you saying? That I'm inside a fake world? The man nodded. This forest, the sky, even the sounds, they're controlled. Then who put me here? Alira whispered. The man's voice turned cold. Same people who put me here, scientists, watching from far away. He turned and began walking again. But I escaped. I broke the system. Now they want me erased too. Alira didn't move. Her head was spinning. The man looked back. Come with me, or stay here and meet the Watchers. She followed. As they walked, the forest changed. The trees became thinner. The air turned warmer. Strange blue lights floated like fireflies in the air. They buzzed softly when they passed. Near Alira's face, what are these? She asked, watching the glowing dots. The man smiled for the first time. Code. Pieces of the simulation, harmless unless they're broken. Alira reached out to touch one, but he pulled her hand back. Don't. Some of them record memory. You touch them, they steal your thoughts. They walked until they reached a large rock wall, covered with moss. The man pressed his hand on a flat stone. A door appeared carved silently into the rock. It opened with a hiss. Behind it was a dark tunnel, lit by a single blue line running along the wall. Where are we going now? Alira asked. To my shelter, he said. It's the only place the Watchers can't see. They stepped inside. The door closed behind them. Inside, the walls were smooth metal, not stone. It was a hidden bunker. Screens lined one wall, showing static. One screen flickered, then showed a map. A red dot blinking. That's you, he said, pointing. You. We're dropped into Zone 3, Sector Delta. He pressed some buttons. Another screen lit up. A file opened. It showed her name, Alira Voss, age, 19, status, active subject. Class, Test Group B. She stared in horror. This is me? The man nodded. They erased your memory before dropping you here. You're part of something. Alira stepped back. Why are you helping me? He looked at her seriously. Because I was like you once. And because you made a wish. She froze. How do you know about that? He smiled faintly. You wished on the wrong star, Alira. That star was watching you back. Suddenly, bang! A loud sound above the shelter. Dust fell from the ceiling. The man turned to the screens. They found us. You led them here. No, she whispered. I didn't mean to. He grabbed a small device, a cube glowing red, and tossed her a pack. If we don't leave now, this place becomes our grave. He pressed a panel. The back wall opened to another tunnel. Let's move. As they entered the tunnel, the last thing Alira heard was the soft hum of the Watchers breaking through the surface. Above, escape through the trees. The tunnel collapsed behind them. Dust and sparks flew into the air as Alira and the man ran forward. The ground shook under their feet. Something was digging from above, fast, sharp, not human. They were being hunted. Tunnel curved sharply, opening into a new part of the forest. But this one looked different. The trees were silver, not gray-silver, like metal. Their leaves shimmered with tiny lights, and when Alira touched one, it made a soft click, like a machine waking up. "What is this place?" she asked, breathless. The man looked up. The forest of code, half real, half program. Alira frowned. "Then can it be controlled?" He didn't answer. Instead, he tossed her a small device, round, flat, with a single blue button. "Push it if we get surrounded," he said. "Only once. It buys us 10 seconds. 10 seconds of what?" Silence. Before she could ask more, a high-pitched scream echoed from behind. Not an animal. Not human. It was the Watchers. Red lights danced between the trees. They were coming. "Fast. Run," he said. They ran through silver trees, across glowing roots, past strange blue vines that whispered in a language Alira couldn't understand. The forest changed around them. Trees shifted places. The path behind them disappeared. "Are they moving?" Alira asked, shocked. The man nodded. "This forest protects itself. It doesn't want us here either." A light beam passed inches from her head. She screamed, dropped to the ground. Above her, a Watcher floated, round, black, with long needle-like legs and a red eye that blinked like a camera. She stayed still, barely breathed. The man didn't stop. He turned around, grabbed a handful of moss from a tree, and threw it at the Watcher. The moss exploded in smoke. The Watcher shrieked and spun out of control. "Let's go," he shouted. They kept running until they reached a narrow bridge made of vines and metal cables. It stretched across a deep canyon, filled with thick fog. Alira looked down. She couldn't see the bottom. The man started walking across. Alira followed slowly. The bridge creaked under her weight. Halfway across, the red lights returned. Watchers were at both ends now, blocking escape. They were trapped. Alira panicked. "What do we do?" He looked at her, calm, focused. "Use the button." Alira pulled out the device he gave her and pressed the blue button. Everything stopped. No sound. No movement. Even the Watchers frozen, mirror-like statues. The man whispered, 10 seconds. Move." They ran across the rest of the bridge. At the last second, the silence ended and the Watchers came alive, screaming behind them. But it was too late. They had crossed. The man pulled a lever hidden in a tree. The bridge snapped and fell into the canyon. The Watchers couldn't follow. For a long moment, Alira and the man stood in silence, breathing hard. Then she turned to him. "I want answers, all of them," he nodded. "You will get them. But we need one thing first." "What?" He pointed to a tall tower in the distance, black, broken, rising above the trees like a needle. "That's the old research center. If we reach it, we can access your full memory file. You'll know everything." Alira stared at the tower. Her hands clenched into fists. "I'm ready." The man looked at her, this time with something close to respect. "You're not like the others," he said. "What happened to the others?" She asked quietly. He looked away. They didn't make it this far. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shifted. A warning message flashed in the sky. "Biosignal detected. Code 7, subject awake." Alira looked up. The sky wasn't real. It was a screen, and someone somewhere far away had just noticed she was still alive. The portal device tower was dead. It stood tall and silent in the middle of the ruined field, half covered in black vines, half swallowed by sand. Its top was broken, like something had crashed into it from the sky. Alira stood at the edge of the clearing, staring at it. Is this it? She asked. The man beside her nodded. This was the control hub, long before you were brought here. She took a step forward. The ground made a strange sound beneath her boots, not dirt, but something hard. Metal plates, buried under dust and time. As they walked, small lights flickered on beneath the surface. Like the tower could feel them coming. It was waking up. Inside the building, everything smelled like burned wires and cold steel. Cables hung from the ceiling like vines. Broken screens lined the walls. One of them suddenly turned on, flashing. A message. System reboot. Intruder identified. Alira stared at it. They know I'm here. They've always known, the man said. But this place, it still remembers you. They found a control panel. The man wiped dust from it and pressed his hand against a scanner. Nothing happened. He frowned. Biolocks. Changed. It only accepts one person now. Alira looked at the hand scanner. Me? He nodded. You're the last subject. They locked it to your DNA. She took a deep breath and pressed her hand down. Click. The floor shook. A hidden door opened in the back of the room. Inside was a single table. On it sat a glowing cube hovering an inch above the surface. The light inside it was alive, moving. Like fire and lightning at the same time. Alira stepped closer. What is this? The man's voice was low. The portal device. It can open a door out of this world. Her eyes widened. So we can escape? Yes, he said. But it needs one more thing to work. He turned to a dark monitor nearby and pressed a button. A hologram appeared in the air, an image of the power core. A sphere of blue energy, held inside a machine. It's kept at the Watcher's central nest, he said. Protected, hidden. Alira stared at it. Then we go and get it. The man looked at her. That's a suicide mission. She didn't blink, so is staying here. He watched her for a long time, then nodded slowly. You've changed. She picked up the cube. It pulsed in her hand like a heart. I remember flashes now, she said. White rooms, people watching me through glass. They said I was a risk. You were, he replied. Because you had something they didn't understand. Alira looked at him. What? He said one word. Hope. Suddenly, alarms echoed. Through the tower. The screens lit up in red. Watcher signal detected. Zone infiltration. The man cursed. We don't have time. They're coming. Alira gripped the cube. Then let's not waste it. He pulled out a map from a drawer old. Burned at the edges. He pointed at a dark area marked with an X. That's where the core is. Deep underground. Alira nodded. Then we go now. As they ran from the tower, lightning flashed in the fake sky above them. The simulation was breaking. Time was running out. And for the first time, Alira was ready to fight back. Inside the enemy zone, the ground swallowed them whole. Alira had never seen a door like that, silent, invisible, shaped from light. When she stepped through it, the forest disappeared. Now, she was underground. Deep below the world she thought was real. It wasn't dark here. The walls glowed with soft blue veins like the walls were alive, and the light was their blood. The man walked ahead. His face was hard, focused. This is the nest, he said quietly, the heart of the Watchers. Alira followed, holding the glowing cube close to her chest. Every step echoed. The floor was smooth, cold, and black like glass. We don't belong here, she whispered. No one does. The man replied. The tunnel opened into a massive chamber. Rows of machines lined the walls, floating pods filled with strange liquid. Inside them were shapes. Human shapes. Alira stepped closer. Inside one of the pods was a girl. She looked just like Alira. Same face, same hair, but her eyes were closed and wires were inside her skin. Alira gasped. Is that Emmy? The man said, that's one of them. A backup, a clone? She asked, horrified. Worse, a replacement. In case you failed. Illyra felt sick. They moved deeper. At the center of the chamber was the core, a floating orb, spinning slowly, glowing with deep blue energy. It was surrounded by watchers, at least 10 of them, floating, silent, waiting. We need a plan, Illyra said, her voice shaking. The man nodded. I'll distract them, you get the core. No, Illyra said firmly. We do this together. He looked surprised. You've changed. She gave a half smile. They made me to survive. I'm going to prove them right. They moved like shadows. The man tossed a small device. It exploded in the air, sending out a pulse. Every watcher turned toward it, lights flashing red. Illyra ran. She reached the platform where the core hovered. It pulsed as she approached, like it could feel her. She reached out, and the moment her fingers touched it, screaming, not from her mouth, from the core itself. The watchers turned. The man shouted, "Run!" Illyra pulled the core free. Alarms blared. Machines dropped from the ceiling. Lasers shot past her head. The man jumped in front of her. A beam hit him in the side. He collapsed. No! Illyra cried. She ran to him. His side was burned. His breathing was heavy. He looked at her, eyes full of pain. Go, take it. Finish what we started. I'm not leaving you. He gave her the cube. You have to. This place won't hold. And if they get the core back, it's all over. Illyra's hands shook. I'll come back, she said. I promise, he smiled weakly. I know. She turned and ran. The halls behind her exploded. The watchers chased her, screeching, like dying machines. But she didn't stop. The fake world above was breaking. Glitches appeared in the sky. Trees froze mid-motion. The ground flashed red. Illyra reached the edge of the forest again, out of breath, bleeding, but alive. She held the core in one hand, the cube in the other. Now, all she needed to do was activate the portal. And hope it worked. The wish comes true. The world was falling apart. The sky above Illyra glitched, flashing between stars and static. Half the forest had frozen like time had stopped. The other half burned with silent blue fire. She stood alone in the chaos. The glowing cube pulsed in her left hand. The stolen core burned cold in her right. Illyra took a breath. The place where she once wished upon a star was gone now. That star had never been real, but maybe the wish still mattered. She walked toward the old field where the fake sky met the broken earth. In the center, a metal plate stood upright, half buried, ancient, forgotten. She placed the core inside the center slot. Nothing happened. She closed her eyes, whispered, "Please. Work." A low sound began, deep and slow, like the ground was breathing. The cube lit up. So did the sky. Above her, the clouds pulled apart, revealing a giant circle of light. A gate, opening. Not a hole. Not magic. A portal, and behind it, stars, real ones. Moving, breathing, alive. A voice echoed from the sky. Subject Illyra Voss. You have reached extraction point. Uploading data. Initiating return. Illyra took a step back. Who said that? No answer. The voice continued, emotionless. Mission complete. Subject survived against protocol. Memory will be wiped. File will be reset. No, Illyra said. No, you're not taking it from me again. She grabbed the cube, pulled the core out of the slot. The portal shimmered, flickering. Then another voice came through, softer, human. Illyra. Illyra, do you hear me? Her breath caught in her throat. It was his voice. The man. He was alive. Where are you? She shouted. I made it. Not far. I found another exit. But we don't have time. They'll shut it all down. I have the portal, she said. But they want to wipe me. Then change the code. Illyra looked down at the cube in her hand. It had changed, now showing 3 lights, red, blue, and white. Each one pulsed with a different rhythm. I don't know. How? She said. Yes, you do. You've done it once before. She stared at the sky. The fake stars dot the broken world, and she remembered her first wish. The one that made everything change. This time she didn't whisper. She shouted, I choose my memory. I choose the truth. I choose to survive. The red light went dark. The white light exploded like a starburst. And the blue light faded softly. The portal stabilized. Alira stepped forward toward the light, but before she could enter, the sky spoke again, only this time. It wasn't cold. It sounded scared. Error. Subject override detected. Control lost. System collapsing. Alira smiled. She had beaten them. As she stepped into the light, her body began to lift, but she wasn't afraid. Her story was no longer theirs to erase. She had rewritten the ending, and the girl who once wished upon a fake star had become something more. The truth beyond the stars. The light faded. Then silence. No forest, no machines, no sky. Just white, a soft, endless white. Like she had stepped into a dream with no shape. Alira opened her eyes. She was lying on something smooth, cold, and clean. A white floor, bright walls, no windows, no doors. Her clothes were different gray, like a patient's uniform. No cube, no core, no man beside her. It was quiet. Too quiet. A screen blinked to life in front of her. Welcome back, Subject Vos. Memory file, corrupted. Emotion data, abnormal. Status, awake. She stood up slowly. Her head was spinning, but her body felt fine. The voice returned. Cold, robotic. You have passed the simulation. Your survival was unexpected. Alira stared at the screen. Where am I? The observation deck, orbiting Earth. The walls faded to glass. Outside space. Stars. A curve of a blue planet. Distant satellites blinking like slow fireflies. She was really off-world. The voice continued. You are the last of the Voss prototypes, the only one who resisted memory erasure. You should not exist. Alira clenched her fists. Then why did you keep me alive? Because now we want to study why. A door opened behind her with a hiss. White-suited people stood there. Scientists, watching her through helmets, taking notes. One of them spoke softly, like to a wild animal. Don't be afraid, Alira. You're safe now. She didn't move. Another scientist said, we can reset the simulation. Let you try again. Clean slate. Alira looked at them with cold eyes. No. You don't have a choice, they said. She smiled. Neither do you. Suddenly lights flickered. The room shook. Alarms blared. From the screen. Alert. Unauthorized signal detected. Internal breach in memory vault. A voice echoed in her head. His voice. I told you I'd find another exit. Her heart jumped. He was still helping her. The scientist panicked. Alira turned to the screen and spoke one word. Override. The screen shattered. The room went dark. And Alira ran. Scene shift. The vault room metal doors opened with a slow hiss. Inside, thousands of memory drives floated, each one glowing with names. VOSS001, VOSS002, VOS-003. She found her name. Hers was still active, but next to hers, another name blinked. VOS-X. She clicked it open. A video began to play. A younger Alira, laughing, talking, wearing normal clothes. On Earth, they said space would save us, she said in the video. But I think they just wanted to escape what they'd done. Another clip, a file log. Prototype X shows signs of free will. Emotional strength. Must be monitored. Another, begin simulation. Wipe memory, observe. Alira's face hardened. She wasn't a test subject. She was a warning. Someone they feared. Because she wouldn't follow the script. She copied every file onto a drive. Then, She walked to the nearest escape bay. The emergency pod blinked, ready to launch. Final scene. The return. The pod launched into space. Small but fast, Alira sat alone, watching the stars. Behind her, the observation deck exploded. Flames and light swallowed the lab that made her. Ahead of her, Earth waited. But this time, she was not going back as a subject. She was returning as a story they could not erase. Her voice whispered the final words. I was their test. Now, I'm their truth.